This is a moon base in City Skylines 2. And today we're going to talk about how I got there. So there's a lot of creative abuse of the game involved in this build. And if you're interested, stick with me. We are going step by step through the build. It's going to be a bit more focused today. And step one is the preparations. Now we have got different steps in the build, so I'm going to guide you through what I did. And in the preparations, I needed to get myself a blank canvas, and that was potentially the most annoying part of the entire build, and it showed me yet again how much I am in the need of a bulldoze tool, like a proper bulldoze tool, one that gets rid of everything that's in between, like the one that we got in Planet Zoo eventually. That was beautiful, just like completely bulldoze over everything. Now you will see that I'm going to flatten the map first of all, get rid of all the water, get rid of most of the kind of forest stuff, and then I'm making the main crater in which our moon base is gonna sit, and I'm gonna do some surrounding craters that you won't see that more often during the build. You'll see that later on in the real-time part though, but they are for the annoying facilities that you do not want to see the whole time. So I'm gonna put like the energy supply in there, I'm gonna put like the industrial supply there, there's going to be the wastewater management and just in general the water management, because you know, realistically on the moon that would be in a underground ice source, so you can't put that everywhere. The same goes, by the way, for the energy supply. We obviously only will do it via a huge plant of solar power arrays, and those will be connected with a huge battery pack park, because you can't like always have it, and we are going to pair that with a geothermal power plant too, which is actually going to be, like, in my opinion, it would be the helium-3 kind of power source, opposed to what would be coal or whatever, or geothermal, because, well, it's not that hot on the moon anyways, but yeah, for like helium-3 is most likely going to be the energy source on the moon, next to solar power, and that's what we prepared. Once everything was prepared, we needed to go into the next step, and this is going to be step number 2 now, in which we're going to prepare the main layout. So I was going for a round layout for the main city center, and the city center is going to be where all the like high residential stuff will be. It's going to be the center where the you know, most of the commercial stuff will be. It's going to be the center where the different public transportation stuff will be, and then I'm going to have some smaller circles around here, around the city, that are actually going to be the supply for lower res areas, and you'll see that later on in the real-time part that there is a good chance that this could look really cool if we only had a wonderful dome bubble kind of thing that you could put on top of these. That would have been absolutely fantastic, simply because, you know, that would look like a lot more like on the moon, because realistically this would all be underground or at least secured in some way, and you know, if it's like a huge city as we are looking at, it would be under a dome. You know, it's not, maybe not the biggest, you know, support for like meteoroids and stuff like coming in like that, but it would be at least for like the radiation and so on, and that is one of the biggest issues you would face on the moon. Simply there's no atmosphere that can, you know, secure you from that. And yeah, just a little bit of a cut forward, because that was an annoying part anyways, because, you know, I made these layouts, as you can see, all sunken down a little, because that is one of the idea as well, to get them into some of the crates and craters on the moon. Realistically, for all the plants, like the realistic plants on the moon, this is what would happen, because they also give like a little bit of a natural security to the people, and a natural source of secure, like, kind of walls for like some storms and geothermal solar storms, are how they're called, and you know, that is also the idea, to sink them down a bit into the moon ground, I would say. And this is all the preparation work over here. You've seen that already in the beginning and the thumbnail. It's going to look a lot more like the moon later on. We're going to talk about that, how I got this done. But yeah, it was a lot of fun building these layouts, but it was also equally annoying, because, you know, I needed to get in several times to redo all the stuff, preparing for traffic later on. Little spoiler, it kind of worked out this time around, which I'm still pretty impressed by that it somehow did. I mean, in the city center it still is like a mess, but most of the outskirts and like the connected satellite lower res areas, I would call them, first of all, they look pretty dope once they are fully grown. It's kind of a very nice shape we are working with over here, and specifically in this kind of more moon-ish environment, it just kind of has a certain atmosphere that I really dig. I really like it, and yeah, just in general, the amount of commercial I put everywhere was quite okay, at least in the outskirts. Not talking about how that looks later on in the inner part of it. And yeah, for those circles, I also always did an alternation, so they're not always the same design. They are all altered in their size, they're altered in their way of the layout, and they're altered in the way how the traffic is getting into it. But they are also altered in the height in general. Like the bigger ones have sometimes even 3 steps down. They're going 30 meters from highest to lowest level, which is pretty cool. And the last part of the preparations was obviously the main spawner, so to say. That was kind of a weird one, because I wanted to make the whole thing look like as if the people would obviously all come into the whole thing via this station. This is the space station, the Chirp X space station, and I must say that this is really cool, because it feels really like this is the center core. I did actually bring both of the highway connections from the outside connections of the map. I brought them both to this spot, so it really looks like as if everything that goes into the city comes from the Chirp X station. There is something that was a bit confusing to me, and this is over here. I'm preparing a second part, and I was like, why the hell can I only put down one? So I was a bit confused to why we can only use one Chirp X station, and as far as I saw that, I couldn't even do that with dev mode. So that was a bit of an odd one. I still don't get. I mean, I would love to just, if I play without, you know, everything unlocked and everything, you know, without money, why the hell can I not put down many of those? I really don't get it. That was a bit of a weird one. But I have to talk also about the main inspiration, I guess, of this project. And this is today's launch of, well, the next Starship approach of SpaceX. Now, the thing is, I'm not entirely sure if at this point in time the launch has already happened. It should, but you never know if it was aborted or not. But anyways, SpaceX planned to have their next huge test of the Starship arranged with the booster and stuff like that. And I'm very much into it, even though the man in charge is a bit questionable at the time. It can't take away from the overall achievement that this project is going to be bringing if it's successful. So I'm really into that. And obviously this over here would be the imaginary city that would be a result of a working Starship, or like in general, that would be it. Now I must admit, this is now me building the center, like the huge build, and that one was particularly heavy to do, because there were like a lot of things I needed to keep in mind, and I got everything to work. We've all the facilities in here that we require. Like there's schools, there is healthcare, there is death care, there is fire departments, there's police, there is public infrastructure. And honestly, the size I had to work with wasn't really the biggest, and I've never ever struggled so much with the underground connections. Oh boy, that was, as you can see over here, like the underground became a hot mess at some point, because everything was connected. And it just kind of grows ever so much more in me that I think one thing that the game does great overground is like the traffic and streets and stuff. You can really do this very nicely now without any mods, and I'm very happy. But I gotta admit, the underground view and the underground capability of building has to be improved. We need a different view. We need a different way of enabling and disabling what type of roads we see, because at some point, as you can see, as soon as I've had enough of a layout below ground, I have always seen, no matter if I turn it on or off, I could always see what's going on underground, which kind of makes sense. But I want to be able to just say, yeah, you know what, I don't care about the underground right now, just leave me, I want to build without. But as soon as you exit the road tool, you'll see everything that is also going on below ground. And as I said, this is like a hot mess, and I just didn't want to see it. And I mean, it kind of looks cool, and realistically that would be the way how you would connect things in a build like that. But yeah, just in general, I didn't want to. And this is me just making the main layout. I wanted to make it interesting. As you can see, we've got 4 different highway connections to the center part. As I said, this is the part where the traffic gets crampy at a certain point. I was able to solve it, at least I would say 70% of it, by adding more and more public transport. We've like I definitely need to make like a second episode, I guess, about the video, because there's just not too much time to show you everything. But there's quite a cool public transport system in place, which goes to all the 4 rings, and in these rings we've like a tram connection that then go back to the center. We've got a subway connection to our industrial zone and the like solar panels and like the solar plant and the water plant. So that's really cool. Like there's a lot of realism, at least kind of as much as possible, brought into it. Here you can see this is the industrial zone, by the way, putting some more waste management in here as well, making sure the connection is nice, putting down enough plants like that to also create energy from this. Also, I'm not sure if you would burn them into energy on the moon. I'm not sure if that works, or if you need like too much CO2 to do that. Whatever, I just don't know if you would need that, but oxygen to make that happen. But yeah, just in general, I'm really impressed by how that actually turned out. I just tested to do that. It was like a little fun experiment to see how far I can drag the game into making something sci-fi looking, and eventually it worked out a lot better than I thought. Yeah, by the way, this just water experiment completely brought me back to another little area. But then, once I fixed that, it was time to let the city grow. And as you can see over here, slowly it's starting to grow. But this is the time where I will hand you over into the real-time part, in which I'm going to show you the somewhat finished version, how it looked like after 6 hours, like 6 actual hours of growing my city. Well, this is how it looked like. So here we are in the actual game, and this is our moon base, the Moon 1 base. And as you can see, it just turned out to be looking really cool, at least as long as you stay in the... Oh my god, look at that. We've just the launch over here appearing right in front of our eyes. Let's just actually pause the game. Look at that. Just taking off from the moon. Oh boy, that looks actually pretty dang cool. Look at this. Oh, this is fantastic. So yeah, this is our moon base, and with the rocket starting, we can actually let it go up a little bit more. Look at that. This is fantastic. We can make it actually... oh, this is a picture-perfect frame. Yeah, so this is our moon base. I'll leave the rocket going back to Earth now. This is it. I talked a lot about the setup and obviously all the little trade-offs I needed to go for. And, you know, all in all, I'm still pretty happy with how it turned out. Like, especially these little societies here around the corner, like these little moon hubs. I mean, the only thing we need to kind of, you know, imagine is that they have like a glass kind of dome above them, and then they would actually be perfect. So that would be lovely. Like imagining having a dome above, that would be cool. I mean, just imagine we can make some props and then just plop them above. That would be cool. I did some connections over here with the tram later on as like an overground connection to just have that little bit of extra detail. I like the fact that they are connected by these very tiny little connection lines over here. But you can also see the layout of the center city is pretty cool, like with all the little elements. It's a disaster in terms of functionality though, but it looks kind of cool. It looks really different from what you would do technically in a normal city. Like it looks very blocky, very planned, very much like as it would be on a moon. And you can also tell it seems like traffic is okay, but let me tell you, it isn't. We have a couple of issues here and there. I mean, but just look at the... this looks also really cool. Like with the different height elevations and stuff, and I think it just has a very interesting view to it. Yeah, I mean, you could also just tilt the camera in a way. Obviously, it shouldn't rain, because rain is technically not what you would have over here, but I think the trick with using the surface painter of ore is really cool, and makes it look really dang good, like all the advertising stuff. Oh, it's not really advertising, it's like a fake indoor section. But yeah, anyways, somewhere over here should be the moon. There you go. I mean, that's right, we are on the moon. That you can't just see the moon. That needs to be Earth. But yeah, you get the point. So I really like how it all turned out. I really like all the buildings, how they work together. This main hub over here, by the way, is insanely busy. Let's see if we can catch it. I mean, it's pretty much in the night, but you can still see it's super busy with all the different trains coming on here. And I just did ban the combustion engine cars here for the center city, but it still didn't change too much. We still have like the main connection hub getting in here. So like every connection that goes into the city comes from below the ground into this central square, so to say. And then this central square, as you've seen in the time lapse, is like a huge roundabout, if you will, like with a one-way lane, which just appeared for whatever reason. So that side of the traffic over here handles the whole thing like pretty amazing, but the other side, like this side over here, is a disaster. I should have just basically carbon copied the other side. I don't really know why I did that, but you know, I just maybe to make it a bit more interesting. The outer ring is mostly like no big deal at all. There are enough lanes and not too many people use it because obviously they need to go into the center. But yeah, I mean, just look at, like, it depends really on which angle you're looking at, but some angles you can get some really cool moon shots. Like let me just show you. So if we go in a different camera mode, let's go to the focal lengths and zoom in a little, and then I mean, just look at that. This looks really like a cool moon base, doesn't it? I really like it, and I think the idea can be sold. And like this one over here, for example, looks really cool. I mean, we would actually need to have like a rocket ship take off to make it really look even better. Like this is a proper moon base, you know. Just imagine how this would look if you've got some like a little bit more of details on the ground, and like if we can change the whole map to being this rocky texture, I think it would look really cool. Like this entire thing of, oh, look at that, there's the rocket going up now. That looks really picture perfect now. This is the perfect way to showcase the Moon 1 area here. Like, boy, that looks really cool. Just take a couple of photos over here. This is screenshot material, guys. This is what it should be. It's like an airplane going up here. That shouldn't be the case. But anyways, one thing I wanted to show you, and this is the last thing I should show you here in the real-time part, but the rest has been talked about enough in the time lapse. Now this over here is basically the main, like this is the idea behind this thing is, oh my god, look at the graphics issues over here. Not sure what that exactly is, but this thing over here is where the fun begins. This is where the rocket ship would technically land, and then everyone is just joining the moon base over here. So that is definitely the center core of this entire thing. I still don't get why on earth, why in the world we can only put one rocket center down. I wished to have, and let me just, let's go into the game properly now, so you can see it in daytime. It doesn't look as similar impressive daytime, but yeah, I don't know why. I would have loved to have like 3 or 4 connections of the main rocket area, and then like seeing the you know, the overview over here. We've got all the industry laid out into this one. What you can't really tell is they're all in like little craters, but they're basically gone in terms of visually visible once you put this surface above. I mean, you have to, you know, you have to die some death here. I don't know why, but, and then also with the water, this is something I kind of found out now. The water is, you can't really get rid of it. Like, I could get rid of the river, but there are some water sources up here, and I wasn't able to get rid of it. Each time I tried to contain them somehow, they just grew after a while so much that they would create like another river. So that one over here is a water source, and that one, and I couldn't really get rid of them, so whatever. At least, you know, just imagine that's ice or so on the moon. We have to, you know, we have to use our imagination for this project to be working. But I think, you know, it does work. So also you can do various things with the time of day, and some stuff looks really cool. Like if you, for example, do this, it just kind of sells the idea. I like it. It's a little bit too saturated at this point. I mean, we could actually change that. Let me just drag down the saturation a little. There you go. And then we can also increase the contrast a little and do post-expose that as if there's like a little bit more sunlight in here. Whatever, there's good. And then we can just lower the temperature a little. We can get the shadows to be like this, and then, you know, just change the midtones. I mean, you know, that is really cool. You can really get the game look. I wish to just set that as a LUT just in general. Like, why can I not keep it now for playing the game? That would be lovely. You know, I can just do it in this one, and that would just sell the idea just so much more all of a sudden. I don't even need to do that much, and it would already sell the idea. I don't get it. But yeah, let's keep that frame and end today's moon base build. That was a little bit of a one-off. I really hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you did enjoy and you want to see more creative stuff like that on my channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel in order to see everything in time, and also let me know in the comments down below how you like it. Are you having any other ideas what we could do? And you know, if so, what do you think could be realized in the vanilla version? And obviously, would you love to see a sci-fi themed building set? Because that's something obviously that isn't planned, or I haven't seen too often. But would you be in for that? Like, going away from the ultra realism to really have some, say, you know, something like moon or Mars or even underwater, whatever is possible. You know, there are so many things that could be done if you just go away from the classical sets and stuff. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about that, and also what you think about the build, what you would improve, what you would have done differently. Just make sure to give me some feedback, because that's the only way I can improve. So thank you so much for your ongoing support. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful day. And if you got to catch that SpaceX launch today, hopefully it was a good one, and hopefully it did happen. So yeah, until then, have a good time and goodbye.